So how are you?
Perfect. You know, man, I'm good. I'm good. All things considered, I can't recall the last time that I was actually this relaxed
That's good.
and had the ability to take pause for thought and kind of reboot, man.
Yeah, because you're one of those people in the industry who's constantly on the go under normal
That's correct.
circumstances. So you're probably like me. Like I think in March I had 3 trips planned, and I
Right.
was pumping myself up for all of them, going, yeah, I'm very excited about each like 3 weeks of back-to-back trips and being across, here one day, here another, and
Yep.
then this happened, and I was like, one by one, the trips were like canceled, and I was like, oh, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad. And then I was like, good. Now I have some time to like relax, get some stuff done. So
yeah, I mean, I've taken care of things that like, and like little miscellaneous things, man. No big deal, right? But
right.
it's things add up over time, and it's like things will go untended for a year. A little stack of mail that I never went through. I mean, whatever.
I know, it's
Any
crazy.
level of I've just been taking advantage to be effective at any level possible.
That's great.
But I also genuinely believe, everybody's talking about they can't wait to get back to normal, and I genuinely think we're going to be getting back to what the new normal is. I think there's going to be
Right.
kind of a modified version of what we understand to be normal.
I know there's this big debate right now. Like, when should we all go back to work? Is it by Easter?
Right.
Is it by, I know our city just this morning issued a stay-at-home order until the end of April. So
right.
That's past April. So, I mean, that's past the Easter deadline as we've been talking about. So
Yeah.
I definitely think for a lot of people, it's not going to be a flip the switch, you're back to normal,
Correct.
and you're not going to be going, even if it's back to normal, it's not like, oh, now I'm going to just go to Honduras next week or something like that. I think it's going to take a little while for all this stuff to come back to some semblance of normal.
Well, look, and I genuinely, on my side of the business as a brand owner, I think a bit of a reset is necessary at this point. I'm in market. I'm not going to say more than anyone else because I'm not aware of everyone's, my son he likes to do this. He knows.
I saw him in the microphone
and have his little moment.
Make a cameo.
So, yeah. So, but as a brand owner, this is Antoine, baby boy. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay. Sorry, man.
No, it's good. It's good.
It's the beauty of working from home.
I was like, this is the joys of working from home.
Okay. Let me do my thing, man. I got to do this thing. Huh. You're going to just lurk around? Okay. That's cool. So, no, but I think a bit of a hard reset is in order, man, because like I was saying, I'm not going to say that I'm in market more than any other brand owner because I'm not intimately familiar with everyone's travel habits, but I can confidently say that I'm in market more than most and consistently. And, the purpose is multifold. It's, I want to understand the health of the market overall. Every territory is unique to it, just some cards, man. Yeah, go. Every territory has its own personality, its own dynamic. And I have to, meet people, show them the proper respect of the visit, et cetera, which is all fine and good. But, I'm phenomenally less effective, overall in my ability to manage our business, our branded business across, multiple categories. And I think the travel, although in some strange way, I think it's expected of a brand owner. At the same time, you know, you're fighting an uphill battle in terms of making it all make sense, you know,
Right.
because it's not like it's free, and it's not like it's cheap. And, you know, at the same time, you're spending monetary units, you're spending your own personal currency, you're spending your time. Um, and I think that this might provide a reset in a sense where, uh, you know, people might become a little bit more self-starting. Not that they're not. I'm just saying, you know, find creative ways to help with the pull through of products. Thank you, baby boy. You know, and so on, man. I mean, I see this as an amazing gateway into the digital event space, and you know, like all these interviews are. Can I have this in my room? Yes, you may. Here, go put it there. Okay. Okay. I can't put it right there. Okay. And I didn't put this guy. Oh boy. Okay. So, you know, because all the, you know, the interviews and all the hangouts and whatnot are, I think they're fantastic because you're offering people the ability to catch you know, catch some FaceTime with people and get a better understanding of them, possibly in a way that they would not have previously had the opportunity. But my thought is like, allow this to be the gateway to the digital event space where, you know, we can better monetize this time, you know, and run promotions and do these things with, conduct these, you know, events with our retail partners and help, you know, remain responsible to them and to the pull through of our product. I mean, the best we can, right?
Exactly.
But I know this, if I could do this from my office in LA, my home office, wherever I might be, I could be in two completely different cities every day, you know, for an hour event, you know, where I max headroom myself into your local store, or we all, you know, connect on one of these platforms. And I think it could be an interesting, more cost-effective way, and just more effective in general manner to drive the business. I don't know. I mean, I could be crazy. I have been accused of far worse, right? So
I'm shocked.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully that's it, because you know, I think a lot of us are, there's a decent amount of fatigue in our industry, and I think it's coming from multiple angles, and a lot of people are feeling it, you know, and you can see it on them, you know, you can hear it in their voice. You end up getting close enough to people, you know them, you know, and I think a reset in certain on certain levels will be healthy for us. Not that I'm running my mouth here.
No, it's good. It's good. This is what this is for. It's like a nice casual conversation. Because I know I was thinking this morning, I was like, every time that we know that we're going to encounter each other at a trade show, we always have that conversation, you know, let's catch up. And then we get to the trade show, and I think you get pulled in one direction, I get pulled in a whole different direction, and we never get to really have a real conversation other than me passing by your booth and taking some pictures and doing a video. So this is kind of that catch-up moment now that we don't have anywhere else to kind of go.
Right. Correct.
And we don't have a big trade show floor right now of people, you know, calling for your time. And so I thought it was I saw Michael Herklops and, you know, Erica doing their Instagram Live. And I was like, that's a like really, you know, good idea to kind of keep people working and busy and kind of in the mode and in the thought process. So I definitely wanted to kind of jump in on it and, you know, put my own spin on it. And I'm doing it on my Instagram. I'm telling people because, you know, we don't know where the conversation is going to go. So I don't want to, you know, limit it to just being about business or just being about leisure or whatever. So I thought this would be a nice kind of middle ground where, you know, people, you know, can just get to know us and kind of sit in on our own kind of conversation, and they can ask questions easily, and we can just go from there.
Absolutely, man. No doubt. No doubt. Oh, Ian Kessler's in the house. It's my dude, the fellow cigar smoker from Los Angeles. No, he logged on the thing, baby boy. He's not. So, Ian, Ian and I have shared many conversations over many cigars, and the cool thing about, you know, our conversations is that they genuinely or generally always circle back to our mission at hand and what we're trying to accomplish. Ian is a successful working actor. He actually now plays, I believe it's the father, although I haven't really, sorry, Ian, delved too deeply into the Disney program you're on, but I know you're on it, and I'm very proud of you. And you know, but it's like he's reached a next level milestone in his career. So it's cool that you would take the time to join little old us now. But he's lurking around in here.
So I guess you know, one of the things I was thinking about from hearing your other interviews this week is, you know, people know some about your cigar history and you in the industry, but there's like lots of time, and I think in your timeline, that people don't know that much about, including me, because I mean, you hear bits and pieces of it, and it's like little nuggets here in this interview and that, but you don't hear like the full story. So for me, which is why I kind of named this kind of series Deep Cuts, is because, you know, like a music artist, for example, put out a whole album, but you only know like 2 or 3 songs from that album, and there'll be like the big, you know, the big hits from that album. And then there's always some deep cuts in that album that kind of the artist connects with that maybe the general audience doesn't as much. So I kind of wanted to have conversations with different people about, you know, maybe like things that you don't hear about as much. So, you know, just starting about like who are you? I mean, I know that's a general question, but like,
who are you?
Who are you?
Inside
that's like such like
of you. Who are you in there?
That's such like a metaphysical question, but like, who are you? Like, if somebody just comes up to you and says like, Matt Booth, who are you? How would you answer that question?
Yo. Okay. So this is an interesting position you put me in, because although I have knowingly and willingly put myself in a position where I'm a little bit more visible than the average bear, you know, when asked, I guess, to talk about myself, I feel a little, you know, I don't want to be, how should I put this, man? It makes me feel a little, you know, like I would be overly proud to be talking about myself. So I'm going to do my best for you. Okay. So who am I? So now, first and foremost, the greatest treat that has ever been bestowed on me is that I'm a father. And I think that if someone asked me today, who am I? My knee-jerk reaction would be to tell them I'm a father, because I think that I'm that before anything. Right. At this point, and forever will be. I would like to consider myself to be cut from a cloth of fairness, and it's never really sat well with me. I was a chunky kid, right? And so I got teased a bit, and I never liked being mistreated for no reason, you know, and it's never sat well with me. And that's just an example. I mean, you could say for any purpose, like there are plenty of reasons to mistreat people. And there are plenty of because, you know, many people have earned that via their behavior or their content of character or lack thereof, or, you know, so you don't have to, you know, I think everyone should be treated fairly. I think that I'm a champion for the human spirit and for independent thought and for free will and the freedom to exercise creativity, and that, you know, I'm a champion for the idea that everyone should go forward into the world confidently and do their very, very best to live the life that they've ever imagined. I don't know if that's who I am. I'm just, again, rambling.
No, that's good. This is like a free therapy session.
Yeah, I went through, you know, and you know what's funny, man, is relocating my son.
This is pretty cool. Look.
That's pretty cool, man.
And also pretty.
Yes. Can it be cool and pretty at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a reflective fingernail clipper that he found. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Just get it all out. Just get it. Just dig through the crates, bro. So, oh my, what was I saying? My son got me off track.
I mean, you were just talking
Oh,
about, yeah.
aha. So relocating home base, right, has reminded me of a good deal of things from other parts of my life that I had long since thought I forgot, you know? And, you know, I had gone through, you know, I didn't have I'm not going to, you know, I'm not playing the world's smallest violin. I'm not crying about it, but I definitely, you know, had a difficult time, you know, as a teenager, and was really into, I think, a lot of things that could have permanently fucked my life up in a major, major way. And I'm very, very fortunate not to have been given a second chance, but just to have had the ability to reroute my life and properly remove my own head from my own ass, because it was very, very deeply planted in there for several years. And, you know, oh, go check on your mom. Go check on mom. I hear her. There you go. Mission. Uh-huh. So, you know, I enlisted in the Marine Corps in '96, and, you know, really as a means to kind of reboot my life. And that I did. Yeah. Go ahead. I fucking love that kid, man. It's crazy.
He's cool. I always enjoy seeing all of Nikki's pictures on Facebook. She's my Facebook buddy these days. We always swap memes and different messages and stuff. So I always see Grayson pop up in a lot of those pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a whole thing with him. And what a brilliant kid! Like, really, just a brilliant spirit in him. You know, you can, and I may be biased as his father. However, you know, you can definitely tell that he's going to do something amazing, man. I know that. So yeah. So I rebooted my life, and you know, was afforded the opportunity to do so by the Marine Corps Infantry. That was a hard reset, courtesy of them. And when I got out, I had really sloughed off a great deal of this negative weight I was carrying with me, and was really kind of free to go back to figuring life out now. You know, and it was really, it was a super cool time, man. I moved back to Hollywood and was pursuing what I thought was going to be a career in music as a performing musician, and had all kinds of interesting, you know, adventures, and still do to this day. Like, if you had told me at any point in my life, if you had just sat down and said, Booth, here's the deal. Here are some milestones that are gonna come along. Here's little flags in the sands of time for you, and you could put down like 5 bullet points for me of anything that has occurred in my life. I would tell you, you are out of your mind, man. Crazy, you know. And but I wouldn't change it, man. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a very enlightening, sometimes thrilling adventure, and there are many more chapters to be written in this book, man. You know. And
we know that you kind of design jewelry. You have Room 101 brand.
I kind of do.
It started.
That's true.
Look, see. I don't know if you can.
I know. Look at that.
That's the Room 101. This is the promo. So.
Oh. Makes me feel good.
So.
Thank you.
Just talk about how you got into that space, because I know maybe for some of the cigar people, we haven't heard that story. I'm sure it's been told in some of the other magazines, kind of more into that space. But how did you get into? How did you? Because I don't think I would ever say, "Oh, I'm going to become a jewelry designer."
You know, I didn't think I was going to either. And I really became intrigued, and intrigue led to falling madly in love uh, with the idea of designing uh, pieces of jewelry. I was really intrigued by seeing these pieces float in and out of the clubs on Sunset, on other artists. You know, Melrose was kind of my spot back in the day. I lived on Melrose for years, and you know, in my free time would lurk around, you know, the boulevard and go into all the boutiques, and I discovered a lot of the super cool, heavier silver style jewelry, and you know, came to find that it was all made in Los Angeles, and then come to be introduced to a couple guys that were designers at the time, still are today, and really discovered this small yet very interesting underbelly of characters. Not so much unlike the situation in Boutique Landia, but Boutique Landia of like 2008. Let's not get it twisted. You know, where it was this much smaller pool of very unique characters that were bringing to life a crafted product that they very much adored, but in their own way, right? Their own spin on it, you know. And this was no different in that little subculture of designers in Los Angeles. And so this really blew my mind. And what I did was I began as kind of a hang around in a gentleman's workshop. His name's Guillaume. I can credit him with really helping me get my start in many ways. I also tell him from time to time that it's his fault. You know, he's to blame. You know, and he had a long history in LA. I mean, he worked with like old school guys like, you know, the Lord's Camp and Henry Duarte, and he worked with Chrome Hearts for some time as well. Some of those names probably mean nothing to you, but to, you know, an LA, an Angelino of like the 1990s, that, you know, those names carry a lot of weight, you know. And you know, I began by piecing together you know, components that he had from some of his collections, creating, you know, just custom built pieces for myself. And you know, that then led to, you know, not only a further understanding of craft and composition when it came to designing, but the fact that three-dimensional sculpture was a huge component of what I was getting into. And I had all these really bold images seared into the material of my mind. I was going to say viscous, but I don't know if that was exactly right. Juicy, like just seared in there, you know, from my time being stationed in Japan. I loved all the sculptural work I saw there, bold in appearance, but also bold in significance. And, you know, you had these many characters, and many are now, you know, tattooed all over my body too, that were, you know, protectors that, you know, for example, like Fudomyu, this is of Japanese mythology. He is kind of known as the protector of Buddhism, and he's the gentleman that my bodysuit is made of. And he basically, Fudomyu is an interesting dude because he was once a demon, right? And he fights evil and destroys evil by leveraging his intimate knowledge of where he came. You see what I'm saying? There's no better evil slayer than a reformed evil being, right? So
it's like Charmed.
What's up?
I said it's like the TV show Charmed. When they
is that? I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
is that what that's like?
It's an old show, and then they got rebooted. But you know, they always have like some character on there who's formerly evil, who gets redeemed, or who's demonic, but has to go through their own kind of transformation to to be good and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay. Okay.
you're gonna get a lot of pop culture references with me. So
Understood. Well, you can spin me up on that because I need a brush up. So Spudami is just an example. That's a powerfully significant character concept. And at the time, a lot of these designers were doing and redoing a whole lot of the same stuff, man. A whole lot of the same thing. And I wanted to come with my own spin on that style, right? And it was different. Still is different, and over the years, I mean, we've made moves to, further commercialize our jewelry collection. And, I've done business with department stores and some of the major chains. And, it's been, and then, go back to what I've done. Yeah, you could get in touch with Philip Michael. You do just everybody call everybody. Fuck it. It's a free for all. Just everyone text someone you know and let them know Matt Booth's on this thing, and he'll get back to you. And whether it's relevant or not, it doesn't. So again, with the psychological derailing of myself. Jumpstart me, Antoine. What was I talking about?
You were telling us a story about somebody. I don't know their name. You're talking about, at one point, you're telling us about your tattoos, basically.
God, I feel like that was so long ago in this conversation. It's moving so fast. No. So, to put my own spin on that, on jewelry design, essentially, Now, I wasn't reinventing the wheel. I was just taking something that I very much loved and kind of doing it my way. And which is not really any different from what I did with my brand as it applies to cigar making, and what we've done with our brand as it applies to making our gin. And that's really Sammy, thank you very much. Thank you, Danny. It's very funny, right? So, because for me, really the idea, although that jewelry design was the spine of my collection, so to speak, I always, in the back of my mind had this lustful desire to continue to evolve our collection to include other items of interest that I loved and enjoyed, but also felt properly rounded out. A true lifestyle collection. Not, a lot of brands, will tout that they are not a brand, they're a lifestyle, and all that stuff. But I'm trying to build the Dunhill of 1920 in 2020. So true gentleman's collection, right? That is akin and in the spirit of a lifestyle brand of 100 years ago, but with the ability to leverage modern technology and techniques wherever appropriate, and appropriately so that they enhance but yet not derail or pervert the craft foundation of the products that we're making. And do it our own way, no exceptions. So I guess that's that. I just keep talking. I hope this is of value.
It's good. I think people like it.
Okay, good.
When it comes to your creative process, I know you touched on it a little bit, but whether it's a piece of jewelry or a cigar, like, what is that process like? Are you the type to write down ideas? Do you sketch out ideas? Do you take notes?
What's funny is I was brainstorming with a friend in the industry this morning on some potential project development. And the one thing that I don't have any shortage of, in fact, it keeps me awake at night, are ideas, and I've recently come into a very interesting chapter in terms of my own personal design work, because if it doesn't have to do directly with my own personal products, there's zero issue. I've come to a point with the last couple times that I've delved into design surrounding my own products, and this is specifically as it relates to like branding and the dressing of our cigars, I have a bit of a block. You know, it's such a critical time for us that I think I freak myself out. And I've never really experienced that before, you know, because it always just kind of flows, you know, and it's natural. So, and proof positive, this morning's brainstorming session is proof positive that it does have to do with my own product. Like, I'm hung up on my own shit. Because if I sat down to you know, create something for somebody else, it would be no issue.
So somebody asked a good question. So do you get upset when other companies try to kind of imitate your style, or are you flattered?
Who asked that? Who asked that question? Who would do such a thing? People don't do that. Are you saying that there are people out there that are plagiarizing our style? Is that what you're saying? Because I didn't say that. I'm just asking if that's what you're saying. I want to make that very clear. Oh, you, okay, you. I see.
Yeah.
Mr. Red Horse Knives. What's up, boss? How are you, by the way? You know, man, it's bittersweet, right? As an actual designer, and an actual creator, which I can proudly and confidently say that I will wear both of those badges with pride. I see, you know, it's very easy for me to identify my own personal design genetic. And it's also very easy for me to identify other people's design genetics. So, you know, as an example, the authenticator, or the source material, I should say. So, I mean, I will go into a humidor in, you know, retail landia, and I will look around and I will say, well, that's cute. I did that in 2008. Or that's a cool spin on that. Robert Caldwell did that in, you know, 2014. Or Jonathan Drew did that, you know, and like I'm like, okay, that's Drew Estate, that's Robert, that's me, that's so and so, and I can literally point around the humidor and trace back, I think, to, you know, to the source material in some of these people's designs. And but the reality is some of these style guides or the trade dress of some products that are in market have been repurposed so many times that in certain cases it isn't even any longer a case of someone biting someone's style or someone plagiarizing. It has morphed into something that is almost industry standard in terms of trade dress, industry standard in terms of the way you represent a product, you know, and that's what I think is very interesting. So when I say it's bittersweet, yeah, it's bittersweet because when I sat down to create my first product designs, when we were genuinely going to relaunch Room 101 Cigars, I hated you know, I designed a collection of work. I sat back and I looked at it and I said, I hate this. Why do I hate my own direct personal design direction? Why does it look tired and lame to me? And then I realized if I released something that looked like product that I created in 2011, I would now look like I was just regurgitating a look that has been used and reused and repurposed so many times that it's no longer even my own style. If that makes sense.
Yes.
And I see that occurring, and I'm not just speaking about myself personally. I see it occurring, you know, across the board, because I mean, you could don't even apply this to the tobacco business, right? Apply it to any industry where creativity is necessary. You know, you have a crop of far more capable people than actual creators. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Capable to produce, but not capable to create.
Somebody asked the question, does Japan grow their own tobacco? And if so, would you ever use Japan tobacco in your cigars?
You know, I got to be honest with you. I cannot intelligently answer that question. I do not know if they grow.
I've not heard of it.
I have not either.
In my
But the
time.
second I say no, someone will
Right.
disprove
Somebody
that,
say,
right?
right here.
My knee-jerk reaction is no. However, I will say this: my favorite place in the universe. It's like going to another planet, but it's a beautiful planet, and that is Japan. And I will tell you this, from what I know of that beautiful people and that beautiful culture, that if someone so chose and aspired to grow tobacco and create cigars in Japan, they would go live at a factory for years, learn everything they could, and they would go back to Japan and they would make better cigars than we do. That's how that would go down. That's the entire script of that story.
Another person wants to know, what's the story behind Super Stroke and why the funny Bazooka Joe banned on such a great cigar?
You know, some things are better left in the land. You know, mystery and the unknown is such a powerful currency. You know, who said that? Wait, hold on. Jared knows cigar. All right, Jared. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Have you ever heard the saying, you should never meet your heroes? Because 9.9 out of 10 times, not all the time, but the majority of the time, they'll disappoint you. So just leave them, you know, don't go to meet the wizard. Don't look behind the curtain.
That's
and
true.
Don't worry about Super Stroke.
I remember when I was younger, there's this author that I really liked, and it was back in the day of message boards and forums. Mm-hmm. And he was on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the guy. And I was like, what's your advice for a young writer or whatever? He said, don't.
Yeah, don't. And that was actually probably good advice.
I was just like, what? Like, oh man, I was like, well, that's not the kind of feedback I wanted. I was like, whatever.
Well, I mean, look, I get approached by guys who are like, hey, you know, I'm really thinking about, you know, starting a cigar brand, really inspired by, you know, your story. And I always tell them, I was like, do you have like a bunch of money that you don't want to have anymore? Like, are you tired of it? Like, are you bathing? Are you bathing in crispy, crisp blue notes to the point where you're so tired of it chafing your body that you just want it, just get this out of here? Like, this is, I can't stand all this money. Where am I going to throw it away? I know. I'll start a cigar brand. I'm sorry. That was a joke.
So what I wanted to do, I wanted to touch on the cigars. I wanted to touch on your early life. You know, we only have an hour. So in the remaining time,
okay.
In the remaining time, which we have a good 15 minutes or so, I wanted to do some like rapid fire kind of off the wall kind of questions to see how you're going to answer these questions. Because I think we all need a little entertainment right now. There's so much serious stuff on the news that I see this as a nice way to kind of get away from that a little bit, learn about some people in the industry, and just kind of have some fun.
I'm sorry, it's shameless. A shameless plug. Sorry.
So if you want to tell us about that cigar you were holding,
I will. But we'll do what you're talking about is far more intriguing, so we'll do it first, and then I'll close with that.
Okay. So I came up with some random questions, like I said. Let me get it. Let me get my iPad ready. So, when's the last time you were starstruck?
Ooh. That's an interesting question. Fuck. You know, okay, so, and not a lot impresses me in the celebrity sphere, right? I am far more starstruck by legends in our business, for example. than I am, than I am celebrities in general. That's correct. TPE. Yes. There you go. Yeah. When I saw Erica, I know she came towards me actually initially at IPCPR, and I didn't even know what to say. I was so, that's the girl from TPE, from TPE, and I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know what to do with myself.
I had the same thing when I put her on the phone a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, Miss Erica took time out to speak to little old me.
Mm-hmm. She'll get you, man. She'll get you. She's star-studded. She's got star power. Fuck, man. I should have a better answer for this. The idea of, potentially being able, so we were trying to work and still working towards doing a little something with a musician that's also kind of a figure of sorts. And I think that he would be one of very few people that I would be starstruck by. And I get very excited about the thought of being able to collaborate with him. I've been starstruck many times in our business with retailers, like legends.
Wow. Like which one?
So one time that I remember specifically is I went to visit Kurt Diebel, and a proper gentleman, and a man with a collection of many fine ties. And he probably won't even remember this. And that's not the point, is that I do. And this is when I was much younger in the business. And I was standing in front of this guy that, to me, he was a celebrity. He was a figure, a respected and longstanding, figure in our industry, in our culture, in our community. And to me, that was more potent and more powerful. I remember just sitting, talking to him in his humidor, looking at his golfer. He had a tie on that had like a whole golf scene. And I remember being starstruck by him in that moment. Finely groomed mustache, wealth tan, very comfortable looking man. And just like that kind of thing. When I run into people that are, and in our industry, I am very, very fortunate to have a great collection of friends that, quite frankly, every once in a while, I would imagine, yeah, we're friends, but there's a striking moment, with guys like, even my very dear friend, Tom Lazuka, Sammy Phillips. I have a semi no longer secret obsession with Rocky Patel. I'm starstruck by Rocky Patel.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
He's a powerful man. There's something about him. Love that guy. Fuck. Okay. Next. Oh, Vartan. Yeah, Vartan. Vartan has great ties. I was starstruck many times by Avo. I had the honor of knowing him. And Sal Fontana, starstruck by him too. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You ready for the next oddball question?
Look, reflective comfort. Here's the situation. I smoked on my last two interviews, and it got in the way of the chit chat. You not on social media? Do you not look at the pictures of me putting the cylindrical objects in my mouth and lighting them on fire? You don't see all that? Okay. Go ahead, Antoine. What's next?
So your next oddball question is, so you're on a desert island with one other person from the cigar industry. Who would be your castaway mate?
That's a great question.
I told you that one, like, really strange questions that nobody would sit here and say, oh.
Man, bro, I could roll with you, man. We could go to the island. Mm-hmm. We'd have a lot of good conversation.
We would.
I could go, so the answer is multifold, because if I wanted to be intellectually stimulated and have great conversation and a person I knew would be uplifting, I would take you. If I wanted to have obscure levels of entertainment for my own twisted enjoyment, I take Pizza Mike. Pizza Mike. Do you know Pizza Mike from Wichita, Kansas?
No.
It's my boy, Pizza Mike. Or Shirtless Mike Holmes. You know him. You know him from the internet.
Yes.
You know.
Facebook.
And I just, he'd get so sunburned though. He really would.
Yeah, I was thinking of a Gilligan's Island type of a situation, but yeah, those are all good answers.
Oh, shit.
I'm glad I made the list.
Danny Vasquez, of course. Thanks for the reminder down there. Whatever. There would be a couple guys I'd take, Maybe we'll rotate them out.
So if you were writing your own autobiography, what would the title of it be?
A ballerina's umbrella in a shitstorm.
Who would you get to write the
Does that paint a picture? It's like an end of days hurricane level storm where pieces of the earth are flying and smashing into everything, and I've got like a small parasol ballerina umbrella that I'm trying to defend myself with.
I'm thinking I'm thinking Princess Peach from Mario, but that's a nice parasol. That'll be your special tool.
Yes.
I think it was an interview you did with Michael Herklotz, maybe, and this was like one of those deep cuts from that interview the other day. But you mentioned dilithium crystals, so I take it that was a Star Trek reference, right?
Hold on a second. Say that again.
A couple of days ago when you were interviewing with Michael Herklotz, I said, "This
what
is
did I say?"
You mentioned dilithium crystals, so I take that to mean that was a Star Trek reference, right?
That's correct. Did
What's
I say dilithium crystal?
You did, because I was like, wow. I was like, that's a deep cut. Like that's like a deep deep cut. And I was like, I don't know if many people like even like caught on to like what it was, or you have to like that's like takes like a different level of knowledge. So
flux capacitor.
So Back to the Future. So Star Trek wise, like what's your favorite series?
I'm old school, man. I'm old school. However, if I was going to pick a favorite, it'd be Wrath of Khan, man. And I'm not even too much into Star Trek. I'm far more Star Wars than Star Trek, but Wrath of Khan.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, a Star Trek reference? I thought he was into Star Wars.
I am into Star Wars. But Wrath of Khan, man. Khan was a G. An amazing mane of silver hair. He's a space pirate. And he had the Boer worms. Man. He put them deep inside your mind.
He had the open chest outfit going on like our friend Tony. I mean, he was...
Tony Bellotto could be Khan. He just has to grow his hair long. I'm growing my hair long. I'm going to be Khan before he is.
So so Tony's going to jump on one of these on Monday. What question would you ask him?
Ask him about his favorite Nighty Night t-shirt.
Okay.
Ask him to explain that one. And have him tell you the story about when they put billboards up all throughout Youngstown to promote our first Room 101 event together. He's been incredibly supportive. Him and his family have been incredibly supportive of us for a long time.
He's a cool guy.
He is, man.
We had a nice group activity after TPE, and he showed up there, and it was definitely a very strange night, but it was a cool night.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that.
Jared knows cigars. It was a White Owl, and it was with my Uncle Lee when I was 16. To answer your question, I want to pay attention to you out there. Right. Antoine, next question. We have 7 minutes, I think.
I know. So I'm going to ask one more question, and then we're going to let you do a plug for your cigar that you were talking about. Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
In English?
In any language. Educate us.
I mean, knee-jerk reaction is fuck. It's so versatile. However, the word sharmut in Arabic is very zesty and delightful. And I think it's been given a lot of shine in the last few years. It's more widely known. It's a phenomenal word. So I would teeter between those two, which it basically, I think, means motherfucker or something like that. It's some vile term. You know?
Well, now we all learned something. So that's like awesome. So tell us about the whatever cigar you want to plug, or what should we be looking for once we're out of quarantine?
The Big Payback. The Big Payback by Room 101. It's a delightful cigar. And you can, you don't have to worry about being out of quarantine because you can have them shipped directly to your door. You call up or log on to my man Big Delicious's website, smokein.com. You've got the guys at Tinderbox, Waldorf, Maryland that'll ship to you. Tragically but true, one of my dear friends and industry man lover, Keith Rumbo, the owner of Club Humidor in San Antonio, Texas, would fulfill all your Room 101 needs. However, they were just closed last night as a non-essential business in Texas, tragically. But between those guys and the other usual suspects on the internet, you'll be able to get whatever you need. But go check out the Big Payback. There's only one, the real one, and it's this one. Thank you for your support.
And your friend Shirtless Mike said he heard about you saying that you wanted to be stranded on an island.
Oh shit, Shirtless Mike. Yeah, bro, but you missed the You missed the
I know,
bro. You
gotta
just
see the
logged in
playback.
now. You just logged in now. Booth wants an island. What? Hold on. Where's this at? Give me a. Where you been, bro?
Well, I wanted to.
No Big Payback for you, Big Mike.
I wanted to thank you for taking an hour out of your time to come chat it up. And as you know, you and I have some stuff to work on story-wise towards the end of the year, September-ish, or hopefully a couple months before. So hopefully all this coronavirus will be over by then, so that we can get together and really hit the story out of the ballpark for tobacco business.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Look, the support, the offerings of support is never lost on me, man. It means a great deal. And you guys have always looked out for me and always, brought my story to light in a very fair and authentic manner, man. So it's, to say I appreciate it is an insult to how much I appreciate it, but I tremendously appreciate it.
Well, no problem. And I'm sure you and I will be talking sometime before then, of course.
Yes, we will.
Maybe if PCA is still going on, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if we can travel and all that kind of stuff. But
exactly.
Stay safe. Have fun with your son, and hopefully he can crash other people's videos and make little cameos and help show off the glittery nail clippers.
Yeah. I mean, like, where does he? I mean, he's a discoverist. He just discovers things. I don't even know if that's a word. A discoverist sounds good though.
He's like an Indiana Jones, but
he is
kid size.
He is. He's an adventurer, man. So, yeah, man. No, for sure. We will. We'll link at the earliest moment possible and keep this thing moving.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for the time, Antoine. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to everyone for affording us an hour of your life that you'll never get back.
Hopefully it was worth it.
Yeah. All right, man. You take care.
Okay. You too. Thank you.